Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. WBC heavyweight champion of the world Deontay Wilder believes that Anthony Joshua at some point in his career was on PEDs. He also reveals terms to a purse split to make Joshua versus Wilder. Stay tuned. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We got some donations. I did a live stream, a lot of Venmo, PayPal donations, super chats during the live stream. Really appreciate it. A lot of advancements and different things I'm working on to improve the channel coming soon. Now, big fight, we're gonna call it March Madness. In the heavyweight division, you got a lot going on. March 3rd, Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz. That's a title fight for Deontay Wilder's WBC title. Later in the month, at the tail end, March 31st, is Anthony Joshua trying to unify with Joseph Parker. Both good fights. Deontay Wilder was in LA and he did a media day at the Watson's gym. And shout out to my dude Fred, Barbershop Conversation, link in the description. He has some interviews where Wilder was saying some very interesting things. Again, link in the description so you can hear verbatim. And Fred was asking some good questions of Deontay Wilder. And one of the things that come up was, do you believe that Joshua was ever on anything, ever on steroids, basically, PEDs, performance enhancing drugs? And Wilder, his response, he says, I'm not going to say he's on something now. You know what I mean? I'm not going to testify to that. I don't know. But he believes at some point in his career, he was on something. And he says, you see the transformations from like the Olympics. And he was basically saying, just like money laundering, where a person will have an illegal business, like let's say a drug dealer or whatever, and then they launder the money into, like, just like what the BMF family did. You know what I mean? Big Meech and them. They were slanging and they had this empire, but they had limousine services and like car rentals or car dealerships, and they had BMF records with Blue Da Vinci, and they had a recording artist. So they funneled some money into that, so it was like a cover to mask what was really going on. You know what I mean? Up until the feds got involved, and that's just some street shit. But that's the point he was making, is that he says Joshua works out a lot, but that could be a cover to mask that he's on something. So it's just, you know what I mean, people see him working out all the time and they're like, oh, okay, so he's naturally this size, and this is why he looks bigger than when he was in the Olympics and this, that, and the third. So I thought that was interesting from Deontay Wilder. And another reason it's interesting is because Joseph Parker made similar comments where he called Anthony Joshua the king of steroids. So I don't know if there's something going on in boxing circles where sparring partners have spoke, or, you know what I mean, threw that dirt on Joshua's name or whatever, but they both seem to be saying that. And particularly when Joseph Parker, when he did it, when he called Joshua the king of steroids, that visibly pissed off Anthony Joshua, because I think I seen rebuttal interviews and Joshua didn't like that. He didn't like being called out in that way, you know what I'm saying, and somebody putting that dirt on his name or putting that label on him. So it'll be interesting to see if Joshua responds to that. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about is during the interview, they were asking about obviously the Joshua fight, and Wilder said something else that was interesting. He says, tell you what, they can give me whatever split they want. He says they're using a lot of like numbers. Show us the numbers. Let's see the numbers, because it's easier to produce those numbers in a smaller country like the UK versus America, where you have to compete with the NBA, NFL, Super Bowl, you know what I mean, just different stuff like that, Major League Baseball. So he's like, first of all, show the numbers. Second of all, he was like, people, and I've said this time and time again, people as fans, boxing fans, they care more about, or at least what they're saying, they care about how much money Wilder's made in his past, or how much money Joshua stands to gain. Oh, he made this for Klitschko. So why do we care as a boxing fan? Why do you care? And I don't know if Deontay Wilder watches some of my videos, but he's saying some of the same exact things that I've said, some of the same new media type talking points. He said the only people that are involved are getting a supply and a portion of that money, so it really doesn't matter. He's like, basically, there's too much of this A side, B side talk. Let's fight, see who the best of the best is, and settle it. You know what I'm saying? You bring your crew, I'll bring my crew, just like a fight. You know what I mean? And then we'll see who comes out on top. So I love that attitude. And beyond that, he said something interesting about the purse split. He said, tell you what, whatever they're offering me, they could offer me 70-30, 90% to 10%. I'll take it as long as in the rematch, you take that same percentage split. And we'll see if you do that. So, interesting proposal. He says, you know what I mean, basically Joshua's the A side. They came talking about Dillian White, and him and his dad, Eddie Hearn, and I think Barry Hearn came to America, and they were mentioning Dillian White. He's like, we want to fight Joshua. So he said, well, they're worried about us making an offer, you make an offer. And then that's when he came with that proposal. And that sounds pretty fair. Like, if you do some bullshit split, just know that if you lose and then there's a rematch, then you get that same lowballed percentage split in the rematch. You know what I mean? So it would behoove both fighters to come to an agreeable percentage split that neither of them would mind if they were ever to get that for either the first or second fight. I think that's fair. A similar deal was kind of made from networks with Joshua Klitschko. Klitschko was an HBO fighter historically, and Joshua had been fighting on Showtime. So the deal that they made was Showtime got the rights to air the fight live. Joshua Klitschko live was on Showtime. And a couple hours later, after, you know what I mean, a time delay, HBO got to air it. But the stipulation was if they were to do a rematch, HBO gets to air it in real time, and Showtime would get to air the replay. And that almost came true, but Klitschko ended up retiring, so that didn't happen. So it's basically a Freaky Friday, a flip-flop in those situations. So HBO and Showtime did something kind of similar to that, where, okay, you get to run it in real time the first go-round, but most likely it's going to be a good fight and there's going to be a rematch. So in that rematch, then we're going to switch the roles, and the HBO gets to air it in real time, and Showtime gets the tape recorded, previously recorded time delay, right? So things are definitely heating up. I want to see what Joshua says to respond. Hopefully he responds to some of this. I mean, he might not, because he has a big fight coming up with Joseph Parker, so he might be fully vested and focused on that particular fight. Me, I'm not going to get into the steroid thing. Like, I can't accuse people, you know what I mean? Pacquiao would be one of the, just like Paulie Malignaggi, he'd be one of the first people where there's a lot of circumstantial evidence, but at the end of the day, you can't really accuse someone of it if they haven't been caught. Ultimately, what's done in the dark comes to light at some point. So for me, my style is not to, like, I'm not gonna just point the finger without any kind of proof, because it just creates turmoil and there's no way to corroborate it. I don't know if you guys notice a pattern. That's just how I am. Because even with the fantasy fights, like, it's cool to talk about, but I mean, I'm not trying to spend 2 days arguing with someone who would win, Mike Tyson or Muhammad Ali, when one person is now deceased, Muhammad Ali, rest in peace, and it'll never happen. And even when Ali was alive, it wasn't going to happen. So, you know what I mean? I just choose not to invest too much energy on just fantasy fights and shit like that that can't be corroborated. Or let's say Floyd Mayweather versus Roberto Duran. Roberto Duran's older, out of shape. Sugar Ray Leonard's older. You know what I mean? So we're not going to see those fights. Those are legendary fights that came up in different eras. So to me, it's not going to, it doesn't make sense. So as far as like accusing people of Peds and steroids, I mean, it is what it is. People have speculations, but I just wait for the truth to come out, and usually it does. So I'm not going to go down that road of someone is definitely on steroids or they're not. I mean, ultimately, like I said, I do believe in time is the teller of all tales. As far as the percentage split, I gave my thoughts. I think that's a fair deal. Whatever you offer, you know what I mean, make sure it is wise, because that could be your percentage split in the long run. You know what I mean? If you offer him 90-10 and then there's a rematch clause, just know that, guess what? If he beats you, then you're getting 10% and he's going to get 90%. And there's going to be a lot of money in rematches. I guarantee you, Canelo versus Golovkin, the rematch for that is going to do good numbers, probably better than first, just like Mayweather-Maidana 2 did better than Mayweather-Maidana 1 in terms of not the fight, but in terms of financial success. So Deontay Wilder brought some solid points up. He definitely gave Joshua and fans something to think about. I know a lot of people, it's a sensitive subject. Let me know your thoughts. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.